Hi guys. So this is just a video to guide us on how to go about using the monthly expense and budget tracker. So once you click on the link, it brings you to this page. Make a copy, you click on the yes icon, or sorry, the make a copy. And the first page we get, or the first thing we see on our workbook, is the overview page. On this workbook, we have various sheets. The first one being the overview, we have January, February, March, April, down up until December. So the first page is just like, you know, letting us know that we've opened the sheet. And then here we have some important instructions that is necessary for us to read, which is one of the reasons why I'm also making this video, which is, telling us some of the things, the do's and don'ts on the sheet, because on each sheet we actually have some pre-formatted cells that contain formulas which are essential for correct calculation and automation. So let's get straight into it. So we have here now, for here, you could just edit just this part, and you could put it as January 2026 or January 26, right? Just, January 26. Yeah, but this is the only cell you are allowed to edit in the upper section. That's the only cell. And that is if you must, because the title of each month is actually down below. So if you must, you could just edit, and this is the only cell in this upper section that you're allowed to edit. So let's get straight into it. Also, other cells that you're not allowed to edit are any cells that have lilac colors that have been shaded with lilac. I also took a step further to put a little note, just so that we know that, okay, we're not meant to edit any of those cells. So let's get straight into it. So first things first, every month we always have like our budget. So this is where we would just do like a rough budget on what we expect to spend in a month. So housing, we have the rent, we have anything that has to do with the house. Maybe if you have home repairs, carpentry work, electrical work, or stuff like that, then if you're to do it, maybe it happened last month and you want to budget for it for this month, then you put it. But let's just go basic rent. So we know, okay, probably maybe your rent is like 1.5 every month, right? Over here, groceries, you don't want to spend more than 200. This is you forecasting your plan. You don't want to spend more than 200 for utilities, which is your power bill, water bill, and any other kind of utility. You could just, these are just numbers that I'm coming up. Maybe for dine out, maybe this month you don't want to put anything, you don't want to go out, or you don't want to do anything. So you could skip it. Transportation for your fuel, bus pass, Uber, and all of that. You could just put maybe 200. Maybe if you have loans that you're owing, or you don't have, you could leave that. Then you want to save. I just want to put something every month. So now we see that for this month, our budget is $2,400, and so we have it here. So our goal for this month is to spend nothing less than is to spend just 2,400. That's our goal. So we aim not to spend higher. Now let's go in and fill some datas over here. So I would just give examples. So for example, for those of us who are paid by weekly, or those who are paid depending on how you're being paid. So your first check, check one. If it's check two, if it's business or side hustle, you just pick. If it's from other source, you can just pick. Please do not edit this also. No add. Just pick what you need from here. So your first check, then the dates. Let's assume you get paid today, or if it's in future, just double click. Yeah, double click on the cell for the date, and then the calendar will pop up. Maybe you're forecasting that on the 8th of January, you're supposed, because you worked, you're supposed to get maybe like, I don't know, maybe 2,000. That's what we're forecasting. And then for your second check, let's double click. We had that on the 8th. We could put that on the 22nd. And let's say maybe you're forecasting, maybe because you, maybe if you're a care worker or you're a casual worker, let's just say, so your pay is not regular, right? If it's regular, you put it. If it's not regular, you put it. Then you have a side also. You could just put maybe this month, at the end of the month, whatever your side also gives you, maybe like 500. So we have a total of 4,000. But let's assume you could fill this before filling all that. Let's assume that, oh, this month you had actually said you want to make 5,000 because you have side hustle. So maybe you had budgeted 1,000 for your side hustle, but because of one or two things, you didn't get that. So over here, we see that what you actually made is 4,000, but your goal was 5,000. Then we come over to this cell, and this shows us that we're 80% there. It means that next month you should, hustle more. Once you see green, it means you're doing good. But if you see red, that's a red flag. Yeah, especially when it comes to the income areas, right? So when it comes to your income, if you see green, it means you're doing well. If you see red, it's a red flag. So now let's assume that you didn't work at all. So you didn't get this second paycheck. So we can delete this. You see that we're down to 50%. So it's giving you and by telling you, you need to work more. So it's like it's keeping you in check also. Anyways, let me just put the one. Yeah. Okay. So now, let's assume for rent on the day, let's assume on the first, and then your rent you paid 2,000, right? And meanwhile, you actually budgeted 1,500. So you see, if we come down here, if you look at housing, okay, that's because we haven't, put it. So here we have to pick the category housing. So if we come over here, you see that the actual amount that you spent was 2,000, but you budgeted 1,500. So that means something is wrong somewhere. So probably maybe um, you know, you could just put rents slash repairs, right? And that's what made it to go to 2,000 because you just had like an urgent repair to do. So you see that housing is giving you red, which means that you've gone above what you initially budgeted. So you have to work on that. Going ahead and I just filled in a little data over here. Since we already get the concept, I don't want this video to be too long. So now we have our total, which is the actual, and then our goal is what we budgeted, right? So over here, we can see that what we actually spent is higher than what we actually budgeted. It's about 150 higher. That was because of the unbudgeted expense and some other things that came in between. So here, this is how much, this was what we budgeted that we're going to make. The 5,000 is what we budgeted that we're going to make, but we actually made 4,000. So over here, we're actually getting our actual amount that we have left. So your net total is what you have left. So where this is why we have that here, the amount left at hand. You can now decide what you want to do with this amount that you have at hand. If you want to save it, if you want to give yourself nice treats, but do not forget that anything you do with this amount left, you have to come and update it here, right? And then you can put it as zero. If you want to make the money to do whatever, do it, but always update it here. And then when if you exhaust everything, you're going to have zero over here, which would be like over here also. Whatever you get here is what you get here. Here, if we look at this our donut chart, we see that our income, which is the green, is doing better than our expense. But let's assume that something happened. Maybe you ended up spending like 1.5 on transportation. Are we seeing? Are we seeing? It's that our expense has gone higher. So we have like just $100 left. So that means expense and income, they are almost at par. If we exhaust everything, let's say that $100 now, we want to exhaust it. So let me just put that $100 somewhere here. Let me put it probably maybe under food, you know, let's just say food. Maybe you did the grocery on the 13th, then you come here, you put $100. So now you see that you have spent all your money, cha cha. So that's why you have this here. So that means you spent everything that you own. So let me just put this under food so that it updates on over here. So yes, guys, this is just a brief overview. I hope you're able to use this template, and it helps you to understand where your money is going and how you're spending your money.